Good morning and welcome to the 22nd edition of Patna Mulesoft Meetup Group. My name is Atul Anand and I work as a senior solution architect at Epicero. And today I am joined by my colleague Vikrant Kumar, who is a lead engineer at Epicero. Today we are going to share our experience with Anypoint API Community Manager or ACM. So we'll be giving you an overview about Anypoint API Community Manager, and then we'll follow it with a demonstration on how to set up the community portal and what all configuration that goes in behind that for setting up the portal. So thanks to the Patna organizer team, Mulesoft Meetup team, Amit, Shyam, and Om for giving us this opportunity to share our experience. This is safe harbor statement. Both the speaker and the host organizing this meetup in individual capacity. We are not representing our companies here. This presentation is strictly for learning purpose and is not meant for any promotional activities. Moving on, housekeeping, a recording of this meetup will be uploaded to events page within 24 hours. Question can be submitted or asked at any time. Try to make it more interactive. Give us the feedback, rate this meetup session by filling feedback form at the end of the day. So as I introduce myself, I work as a senior solution architect at Epicero, and Vikrant, you would like to add anything more?
Yeah, thank you, Atul. Nothing much to add from my side. I just want to thank the organization of the Patna Meetup community for giving us this opportunity to use this platform and share our experiences regarding the API community manager. So,
Cool. Thank you, Vikrant. Okay, let's get started then. So what is an Anypoint community manager? So basically it helps us to build and operate community portals around the APIs that build. So the developer who is internal or external to the organization. So using this Anypoint community manager, we build that portal and it helps them discover the APIs and access the documentation around the APIs. So it deliver capability for companies to transform developer portal. So you might have already seen the Anypoint Exchange. There is a public API portal link that is accessible from Anypoint Exchange. But if you open that, it there's no provision to customize the site pages. I mean, whatever it pulls up from the Anypoint Exchange is what it shows, but there is no customization, no extra guides or something which we can add. In addition, it doesn't provide rich look and feel. So it's very basic look and presentation. So that is where Anypoint Community Manager helps us to enhance the personalized digital experience and also branding as per the organization needs. So whichever client which we are working for, so you can associate the branding as per their requirements. So that is the purpose of Anypoint Community Manager. Also, it helps to engage with these developers. I mean, the developers who will be using our APIs. So there are additional features like forums and support. Those things can be added on the Anypoint Community Manager, where the developers or the partners, they can go and raise their questions, whatever issues they are having. They can raise the question and other developers from the community can respond to reply to those queries. So yeah, those are the features additionally sorry, that Anypoint Community Manager provides. Moving on, this is the architecture diagram. So at a high level, you see Salesforce and MuleSoft. So ACM is where you need to have that entitlement first on the Anypoint platform. So you need to have the ACM entitlement enabled on the Anypoint platform. With that entitlement, you get a Salesforce Experience Cloud instance. So that instance is made available with that entitlement license. So once this Salesforce Experience Cloud instance is available, we have one package, ACM package, that we need to install on this Salesforce instance. So we call that package. I mean, we deploy that package on the instance. That is how all the ACM related package gets installed on the Salesforce Experience Cloud instance. After that, we need to connect the Salesforce cloud with the Anypoint platform so that uh, the documentation and the API details can flow in from the Anypoint Exchange to the ACM. Okay, I'm in the Salesforce. So for that, we create either you can connect using the org admin credentials, or we need to create a connected app on the Anypoint platform. So using the guided setup, we can have that connection established between the Salesforce Experience Cloud and Anypoint platform, and thereafter you can add all the APIs. You will be able to see the APIs which are published on the Anypoint Exchange, and that way you can create your community around it. In addition, there is provision to add identity provider on the Salesforce Cloud instance, so that the member, if you are having SSO, you can use the SSO login for logging into the portal. Any questions so far? Okay, I will take the silence as no. Let me go ahead. So yeah, these are the prerequisite for any point community manager. As I mentioned, you need to have that ACM entitlement on the any point platform organization. In addition, with the ACM entitlement, Mulesoft provides a Salesforce instance where you need to do the ACM package installation and configuration. Also, you need to have either an org admin credential with you or a connected app credential. That way, you can, using the guided setup on the Salesforce instance, you can connect the Salesforce instance with the Anypoint platform. That connection gets established, and the API details you can add onto the portal. Also, you need to have a system administrator access on Salesforce so that you can configure the package installation or other configuration related to setting up the community. And also, we need to enable digital experience on Salesforce instance. So there is a checkbox which we need to enable in order to start using the community manager.
So Atul, this Salesforce org, we can use any existing Salesforce org, correct? We don't have to buy separately, correct?
No, I
The
mean
com-
that needs to come from Salesforce. I mean MuleSoft only. I mean that should be a fresh thing. In with
okay,
the new version, yeah, with the
hmm.
new version that is coming, I think API Experience Hub. I'm not sure whether that got released or not, because last month I heard that it's a enhanced version of ACM, API Experience Hub. There, I read that you can use any Salesforce instance. So that is what I got to know.
Okay, so we
But
can
so
say that
far,
this.
whatever, yeah, so
Yeah.
far whatever I have seen, we get that Salesforce instance. I mean, with the entitlement, we get
Mhm.
that instance along with that. So it's included as part of ACM entitlement that MuleSoft provide itself a Salesforce instance.
Okay, yeah. Thanks, Atul.
No problem. But yeah, with the Experience Hub, I read through one of the article where they were saying that with Experience Hub, we can also associate. You don't need to have your you know MuleSoft provide a Salesforce instance. You can use your own Salesforce instance for doing that. Okay, still I think I'm not sure whether it got released or not. It was supposed to release last month, but yeah, I haven't seen Experience Hub. But yeah, that is enhanced version of ACM, where right now when we're demonstrating, right, most of the configuration goes into Salesforce. We need to have some knowledge on the Salesforce side. With Experience Hub also we need to have, but some of those things have been moved into the Anypoint platform itself. So all the configuration and those things you can start doing. I mean, you can do it on the Anypoint platform. You don't need to go into the Salesforce instance for doing that. At the back end, it's similar to ACM. I mean, whatever we are presenting, it will be more or less similar to API Experience Hub also. Okay. Okay, moving on. So what is the need for Anypoint API Community Manager? So as I mentioned earlier, if you have seen the public API portal, um, I mean, you can't customize much over there, and it does not provide rich look and feel. I will show you right now what I'm talking about, and that is where any point community manager comes in. So it helps to customize the portal, it helps to personalize and add branded experience as per the needs of the organization. So whatever look and feel that they want as per their branding, you can achieve using any point community manager, and that is very easy to do. It's just about clicking few of the configuration and just publishing it, and it gets live. You don't have to code actually, until unless it's super customization. Rest other things can be customized very easily. Okay, we'll quickly show the demonstration for that one. Okay, now let me move to uh, the the entitlement. Let me show the entitlement. So I will use my organization Anypoint platform to show it to you. Okay, so let me quickly log into the Anypoint platform. I'll show you the prerequisite and how we configure the ACM package installation. Okay, so I've logged in into my org Anypoint platform, and then if I look at the profile for that, so this is where if you see, right, so API community manager enabled true. So that means this Anypoint platform org is having that entitlement for using an ACM. Okay, so this is the first prerequisite which we need to check. So yeah, this is the entitlement. The other thing which I was talking about was the exchange portal. So let me go over to the exchange. So if you click on this public portal, right? So I mean, as you see, right, we have set of APIs that have been defined, but we can't really do anything, any customization around that. Like if you want to have more additional guides and some other details that can help any developer or partner who wants to use your APIs go through the guides and those things. So you can't customize it. Though you can add some home pages, you can add few other pages to that, but that will be it. I mean, you can't have much details around that. So so right now this is the portal that comes out of the box with any point platform, and with ACM we'll show how rich look and feel we get with that, and it is very easy to configure. Okay, so yeah, I talked about the entitlement, I talked about the endpoint exchange. Let me close this and even this. Now let me go to the Salesforce org instance for my org. Let me quickly open that. Okay, so I'm logging into the my Salesforce, I mean my organization Salesforce account. And first thing is I will show you what is the package installed. It's already installed on the system, but I will tell you how to basically install that. So if you go into the installed package, if you see that, so this is where you can see API Community Manager. This license is already installed, and the version is, this is the latest version 2.15 ACM package. So now, I mean, earlier with 1.x version, right, you have to manually um, install the latest version. You have to manually upgrade those licenses, but after 2.x, it's all maintenance. I mean, it automatically upgrades the licenses. You don't need to worry about that. So with regular maintenance, it automatically at the background, it updates the licenses. You don't need to worry about increasing it with the new release version. Okay. So yeah, was about the package which is already installed. Now I will show you how to install the package. Okay. So for that, we need to go to the release notes section of API Community Manager documentation. So let me quickly open that. So if you see the release notes, this is where you get the link to install. Okay, so the latest August 2023 is the latest version. So 2.15, whatever we are having is the latest one. And this is where the sandbox environment and production environment, you are having the links. You just copy this and replace the this test.salesforce.com or the login.salesforce.com, right, with your organization domain. Okay, whichever environment where you want to install, that domain name we have to use. So if I look into the my domain, I mean my org domain, right, so you can find it over here, my domain. So this is the domain name. So I need to replace that test.salesforce.com with this URL. Okay. So I will quickly open that link. Okay. By replacing that. Yeah. So this is the link. Okay. As you can see, I've replaced test.salesforce.com with my org domain ID. Okay. Now if I click enter, though I'm already in 2.15 version, but yeah, if you are not into, if you are installing it for the first time, it will ask you to go ahead and install it. Okay. So it will load the page, install. You have to select this option, install for admins only, and just select install. It's just showing upgrade, but yeah, I think you will see a install option. You click on that and it will install the community for you. Okay. You will get a notification. It takes some time, I think 5 to 10 minutes time. So this page will time out before that. So you will see some message that you will be notified about the installation progress by email. So that is where after installation you will, whoever is the administrator, he will get the notification by email, like it got installed, or if there was some issue, then you need to look into the, it will also give you the logs. You need to look at the logs, like what was the issue with the installation, and you can look at that. So this is how you install the package. We already have the package installed on our system. So yeah, so after the installation, right, this was about installation step. After the installation, you will start seeing this page. I mean, under the app launcher on the Salesforce org, you will start seeing the community specific, um, yeah, app. Okay, so app API community manager, right? So you click on that API community manager, and there is a guided setup. So as I mentioned, right, you need to connect the Salesforce instance with the Anypoint platform. So this is how you do it from the guided setup. So you go to the app launcher. After the installation, you select this API community manager and go to the guided setup. Guided setup is where you, if you see right now, already the connection is established. That's why you see this message. Your Salesforce org subdomain is already connected with your Anypoint organization. Okay. So this is already connected, but when you are doing that, you will you will have to input your either the org admin credential or the connected app credentials, which I talked about earlier, right? So either there will be two options available on this page. So you have to select, there will be two radio buttons. So you either select the org admin credential or the connected app credentials, and that way you select, you provide just the credential, the user ID and password, and that way you hit enter, and that way it will connect the Salesforce instance to the Anypoint platform. Okay, so this is the step, how you do that guided setup. There's also a manual setup, but that is required in case you are having multiple identity providers. So I did not require, I mean, so far whatever I have worked with a couple of clients on the ACM, but never I had got that opportunity to go into the manual setup of things. So this already sets up everything for us. Okay. Now, to see the health of the the package installation and connection, you can go to the diagnostics. So click on this diagnostic, or you can also click it from here, the diagnostic tab you see over here. So if you see, the package version shows as 2.15, and this green tick mark is important. In case there is a red, you have to check like what is the problem with it. So same with the connectivity with Anypoint. So Anypoint platform connectivity and package installation is successful. Cache is basically used for improving the performance of site pages. So the portal pages where you are having images and those things, so it caches based on that. So these settings are related to that. So if you see this 0 MB, that is for, since we are not having I mean the license that we are having for Salesforce does not have that memory allocated for our cache. So that is why it is showing as empty over here, like 0 MB. But yeah, it's good enough for session cache or cache. So yeah, I mean, this is all the settings that we require, the prerequisite, and the package installation, and how you connect from any point platform, I mean from Salesforce instance to any point platform, how to check the, how to verify the installation and those things. So this is how we do that. Next step is we create a community from here. For that, I will hand it over to Vikrant to demonstrate on that. But so far, any question before I hand it over to Vikrant?
So one question, Atul.
Hmm.
Do we have different instance for dev and prod here, or like
Yeah,
how it
so
is?
you get a prod instance with the ACM. So if your requirement is, you can create a sandbox environment from there. So you don't need to have a separate instance for sandbox. And so it's a peculiar Salesforce instance, right? So you get a
Mhm.
production instance, and from there you create a sandbox instance.
Okay.
So create an environment out of that.
Okay. Thank you, Atul. Yeah.
Okay. So Vikranti, over to you. I will stop sharing.
Okay. Okay. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Atul. Thank you for all the information. So I'll take over and I'll move ahead with the demonstration of our session. So today we will be uh, just a
We are
second.
not able to see
Present
those
my
things.
screen. Yeah. So as I was mentioning earlier, so today we will have topics covered in the ACM. I mean, this demonstration will cover the topics such as creating a new community and how we can set up the community for different personas, namely the guest persona or a member user persona, and for admins it is automatically set up since we the admin is the only one setting up the community. So we will see the options revolving around that. And also we will see, as Atul mentioned, that the public portal cannot be customized as per the requirements, as per the client's need or your needs. So we can also see how ACM enables the user to customize the community and to let the users change the look and feel of the community so that it is more likely customer specific. The your API portal or your community portal is more the look and feel, the aesthetics of your community portal is changed. It is not a very basic version like the public portal of the Anypoint platform that is provided by default by Mulesoft. So, as Atul mentioned, so we have this since after installing the ACM package, we have this API Community Manager app already installed. So I have this since I have this already open. So in that, in the API Community Manager app, we have this diagnostics tab, and under the diagnostics tabs, you can see you have a on option of create a new community. So we'll move ahead and click on this create a new community to start creating a new community. So when we click on this, so now we will be asked to choose a template for the community. So a template, so MuleSoft by default provides with default templates from their end. So we have this microsite LWR, build your own LWR, or build your API community. And there is also a possibility as to, let's say we have a previously set up community that we have up and running, and we want the new community to have the same look and feel of the previous community that we have created. So we can use the new community, we can use the previous community as a template to build a new community. So we also have that option, but for now we will move ahead with the default template, the API community template that is provided by MuleSoft with the ACM package. So when we select the API community template, we get to this option and we will click on get started. So in this step, we need to give the name of our community, and this is the URL on which our community will be accessible. So this is the host, I mean your Salesforce domain, and this is the URL on which your community will be accessible. So for the time being, I am just giving the community name as ABC Bank Community, and the URL on which our community portal will be accessible will be ABC Bank. So these two things can be changed later on as per your needs. So by default, you can give anything you like, and later on, if you want to change the name of your community or the URL path that on which your community you want to be accessible over the internet, so you can change this later on. So for the time being, I am using this the name as ABC Bank Community and the URL as ABC Bank. So we'll move ahead and click on create. So at this step, it will take quite bit amount of time to set everything up and create the Apex classes and objects associated with this community. So this step is automatic. So we will wait for quite a few minutes and then we will move ahead with the next step. So while this is
What are
going on, yes.
what are the objects created, Vikrant, by default? Which all objects are there in
I
Salesforce
mean,
customer?
actually,
Mm.
there are certain objects which is required to pull in the assets from Anypoint Exchange and associate those assets with your community. So there are like community API, community asset version, and there are many more objects that are created for your community. So that when you try to add API to your community, they will be associated with your community. Uh, I hope that answers your question.
Yes, yes, Vikrant.
Okay. Okay. So we
Yeah,
see
there are
now
many
that.
packages, all the those start with ACM PKG underscore. So I mean, there are many more which gets used internally. So ACM PKG is what all the object starts with. Yeah, good, good.
Okay, thank you. So we see that our community is created now, and this is the workspace page that is open by default. So right now I'm logged in into the community as the admin administrator profile. So by default, while setting up the community, you are logged in as the administrator. So now we will move ahead and uh, set the things for the guest profile. So the guest profile actually is like, let's say you have your community portal that is accessible on the web, and some random user or some random uh, who is very new to the community. So they will visit your page and see as to what the community page is offering. So we will set up the community for those kind of users or that the guest user persona. So after this, we will again go back to the diagnostics tab. And so if we scroll down, so since previously we have our many community that has already been set up. So if I just refresh this, and under the diagnostics tab, you will be seeing that our community has been created. So previously this wasn't available in the diagnostics tab, but now we have created a new community, namely the ABC Bank community. Then we will be able to see. So to set up the guest profile, so from here we will click on the Open Builder option. So here we will the API community builder will be opened when you click on the Open Builder option. So this is the API community builder where you will be able to change the look and feel of your community. So I'll come to this the builder at a later point of demonstration. So right now we will be setting up for the guest profile. So here we have this option as settings. So we'll click on this option, and then we will have the general tab here. So here, as you see, we have this public access option. So this public access option gives us the option to enable guest user can see and interact with the site without logging in. So if this option is not available, if a guest user comes and they will try to access your community, they will be able to see the page, but the API or the assets that you have added onto your community, they won't be able to test those out without logging in. So they will be required to create an account onto your community, and then they will be able to use the API console or for your particular API. So we'll move ahead and check this option so that the guest users can, with even without logging in, they can see what are the assets that your community is providing or that organization is providing to the users, and they can interact with it, and they can test the API out even without logging in into the portal. So this option is for that. Now we will, so the by default the ACM creates a new profile, a guest profile. So the guest profile of your community is accessible through here only. So if you will, we have a profiles tab in the Salesforce setup, but this profile won't be seen over there. So if you need to access your guest profile, then you need to come to the site builder, you need to come to the general tab, and then you need to click here. So your guest profile, the guest profile for your community is accessible from here on. So if we click here, it will redirect me to the profile tab, which is the guest profile for the ABC Bank community. Okay. So now it is open. So now we need to give Apex class access to this guest user profile. So most of the processes are being enabled by the Apex classes. So you need to give the those Apex class permissions and Apex class access to this profile, so that when a user of this profile or this persona tries to access your community, they will be able to interact with your community in a better way. So here, after this profile is opened, so you will see an option here, Apex class access. So we will click here on Apex class access, and we will click on the edit option here. And we have a bunch of the Apex class that we that your Salesforce org is having. So for the time being, we just give all the Apex class access to this particular profile, and we'll click on save. Just a second, I think it's taking a bit amount of time. Okay, let me redo that step. I don't know what happened. Yeah, so it was enabled. So we see now, since previously you weren't able to see any Apex class under this tab, but now we see all the Apex class that we selected and gave the permission to this profile is under the tab, and we see all the Apex class access given to the guest user profile. So uh, after this step, so now we will move ahead with the certain set of permissions that we will assign to this user profile. So previously, we used to give permissions with the help of object settings. So under the profile, we also have an option. So I'll just show you. So if I go to profile, let me open this only. So I open this profile and we have this object settings. So there are certain, so you have a list of the objects that is available into your Salesforce org, Salesforce instance, and you need to give access. So right now, by default, this profile do not have access to any of the objects, but you need to give certain level of access to each type of profile in order to enable that profile, and in order that such that the profile works as expected. But so it was a very tedious task where you had the list of around 30 to 35 objects, and the you have to change the permission of that object according to the list given. But the Mulesoft has made it easier in the newer versions. Like they so if I go to permission set, so if I see I have an ACM admin user permission set, ACM guest user permission set, and ACM member user permission set. So by default, they have set all the object permissions required for that particular profile in order to such that that particular profile works as expected. So they have already provided these three permission sets, and now what we ought to do is that we need to associate that profile or the associate the users of that particular profile with these permission sets. So since we are handling the ACM guest user, now we will associate the guest user of the ABC of our ABC bank community with the ACM guest user permission set. So we'll move ahead and click the ACM guest user, and here you will have the manage assignments button, so that you can associate the guest profile with this ACM guest user permission set. So we'll click on add assignment. So here you'll see the ABC bank community site guest user. So you will associate this type of user, guest user, with that particular permission set. So we'll just select the ABC bank community site guest user and we'll click on next. And then we'll just assign that user that particular permission set. So it has become much easier than as compared to before, where we had to set the object settings of those 30-35 objects with either only read level access or read and write level access. So it was a kind of tedious task which has removed totally. It has become very easy. So, any questions up until here as to regarding any of the step? Okay, I think I can move ahead. So now, since we have set up the community for your guest user, we will now go ahead and activate the community so that your community becomes readily available on the internet. Right now, if you see, so if I go here, so I'll go back to the API community manager uh, component, and then I have the API curator tab here. So and then I'll go to the
Select your community.
open.
Select your
Uh, oh, sorry. So I'll select the ABC Bank community, and then I'll open the site administration. So I have a shortcut to applications, and then click, and then I'll open the site administration. So this is the administrative page specific to your community. So you see that right now the status is preview and activate option is available here. And this is the URL of your particular community. So let's say if I try to just copy this URL and try to open it in a browser, and let's see if my community is available or not. So right now your community is not available. That is why the Salesforce login is coming up, so that you can log in as an admin and then you can view. But for a guest user or a member profile, your community is not up. So I'll move ahead and then activate my community. So I'll click on activate, and then I'll just click OK. Okay. So now you see the option has been changed and it has become deactivate. Okay. So as I mentioned that in the previous, when I was setting up the community, so as I mentioned that the name of your community could be changed. So we have an edit option here after activating your community. So here you can change the name of your community as well as the URL on which the your community will be available over the internet. So this is the place. If I cancel, and then again I'll try to refresh the page. Again I'll try to use this URL. Just a sec. Okay. That's fine.
You need to publish that thing. You have select done that activate. I think
Okay. Okay.
you need to publish.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. So there's one more option that I need to do, is that to publish my community portal. So we'll get back to the community builder option, and then we'll get back to this API curator tab, and from here we can use the site builder option and open the community builder.
Check the settings once if it is publicly there. Setting
Yeah,
is there, right?
yeah,
Now you
it's
can
fine.
publish it.
Yeah. So I need to also publish my community so that the look and feel of my community is readily available. So I'll click on. So we have a publish at the top right hand corner here in the experience builder. So I click on publish and then publish. Okay. So now the changes have been published, and the changes are live. So we'll move ahead and try to refresh this site. Okay, so now our community is finally up, and this is the guest view that you are seeing. So after the publish, you are able to see the guest view. So right now, the very introduction or the home page that you are seeing, we have the home page here. So if you see whatever homepage, the contents of the homepage that we have here, you are able to readily see it here. So we have the APIs option. So right now we don't have any APIs that we have added to this community. That is why we are not able to see. So this is the guest profile that we have set up, and then we have enabled our community so that it is readily available over the internet. So this was the first step. Now we will move ahead and set up the profile, the member user profile, or the member user persona, whatever you may say. So that, I mean, this persona is like the user who has logged in into your community, and then they are interacting with your community. So we will move ahead and then set up the we will you set up for the that member profile. So again, we'll move back to the API curator tab. So let me just close it. So again, we are back here to the API curator tab, and then we'll create a new profile. So for that, we will go back to the setup, the Salesforce, and we'll search for profile.
Let's add one API over there, Vikrant, so that we can show them how the API
Okay.
looks like.
Okay. So okay, Atul, sure. So
No,
before moving ahead with
yeah,
the,
keep this page open. Let's go there, API
yeah,
curator. Let's add one API.
okay.
Uh,
Okay, so adding an API, so we can, as I mean, since it is a community portal and we want the our customer or the visitors to interact with the APIs that we have in our Anypoint platform. So since we have the connection uh, uh, already set up with our Anypoint platform. So in the API, under the API curator tab, you will have two more tabs, assets in your site. So this will list all the assets that you have added into your community. And if you'll click here, assets in Anypoint Exchange, so this will list all the assets that are available onto your Anypoint platform. So we can choose the asset that we want to our community or community site from here, from all the list of assets that we have here. So we will search for an asset. So we have a demo asset here. So just give me 1 second. Mm, okay. Okay. So let's say if I am adding this demo app. So I just selected the checkbox beside the demo app asset, and then I click on either to, you can either multiple select and then click on add to your site, or you can, if you want to add a single asset, you can directly click on the add option available at the right hand side of the asset, the listed asset. So I'll click here and then I click on add. So demo app API will be added to the API bank community site. So I'll add here. So now the asset has been added, and then assets to your site. So since it is added, so I have added the asset to my site. So I'll try and see if the asset is visible to me. So here also I'm not able to see that asset in the guest user profile. So here we have an option to edit the configurations of this asset. So right now, if you notice, the visibility is to admins only. So the administrators who will be logging onto the community, they will be only be able to interact with this asset. But since we want this asset to be available to everyone, even either it might be an admin, or it might be a member, or it might be a guest user. So the guest user should also be able to interact with this asset. So right now I'll click on the edit action here. I mean, we have an edit button here. So I click here, and now I have bunch of options here. So I can change the asset name. So I can change. I mean, in any point platform, if you want to change this asset name, so you need to change it for the whole org. But if you change here, it will be local to your community only, and it will not affect the asset that is published onto the any point platform of your organization or your company. So this asset name change will be local to your community page, which we have created using the API community manager. I can change the asset icon, and so I can change the instances visibility. So we can have multiple instances like the mocking service URL, or we can have we can have an deployed application associated with that particular asset. So we can select as to which instances should be visible. So only public. So let's say if the deployed instance you have made private, and here the option is selected only public. So the when the user is trying to access your API using the community portal, they will be only be able to see the public instances like the mocking URL service, and they will not be able to see the deployed instance. So the next part is the version, clients, instances, and manage visibility. So if you have multiple major versions here, so it will list as 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and you can manage the visibility of the major versions independently. So you can keep for 1.0, you can keep for everyone. For 2.0, you can keep members only, and for 3.0 you can keep admins only. So the according to this particular visibility, the major versions will be available to those kind of personas. So since I want this demo app asset to be readily available to everyone, so I'll choose the visibility as everyone, and then I'll click on apply. So now the asset demo app was successfully edited, and now you see the visibility has been changed to everyone. So I'll go ahead and refresh my community portal page to see if I am able to see our API or not. Might take a bit amount of time. Just a second. So, okay. Okay, so I have it here. There seems to be an issue. It is not showing the APIs. Oh,
Do one thing, Vikrant. You go to the diagnostics,
yeah. Okay.
and under the community guest user access, right?
Yeah.
User access, go to user access. Can you fix all? Click on fix all. Yeah,
That-
go ahead and try now. Okay, let's see. Public guest user sharing rules are not configured. Can you fix again? Go back, expand that. Or is it? It's configured.
yeah, it's configured.
Okay.
Let me just see the sharing rules. If it is not, I'll configure it manually.
Mhm.
So Atul, I just have a question. So say for example, if some ACM project comes,
Mhm.
yeah. So what should be the ideal team size? Because I think it's more kind of a 80% of the Salesforce configuration and very little on the Anypoint platform side, right?
Right. Yes. But yeah, means it's not that we need in-depth knowledge onto the Salesforce. I mean, we have uh, appropriate documentation also available for ACM, which you can. But obviously, we need to have someone. I mean, it's good to have someone with the Salesforce knowledge also.
Okay.
That will be
Okay,
beneficial.
because my experience is that the project that I handled, this
Hmm.
Bridgestone, right?
Hmm.
So I think the Salesforce developer was more, useful there
Right.
than the
Right. Right. That's what I said. That
Mulesoft developer. Yeah.
see, just for this configuration, right? I mean, all these steps, what we are
Hmm.
showing right now, most of the things you will find, sorry, in the documentation. So, I
Okay.
mean, it's only when you get complex use cases like, you need to customize something,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Right.
you need to add, you need to have multiple permission and permission set
Hmm.
defined.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
where you need to have
Okay.
surely one Salesforce developer.
Okay. Understood.
Ideally, if you can get one Salesforce developer from the start, I mean, nothing better than that.
Yeah.
But in case we don't get that,
Yeah. Yeah.
what with normal setting, it is not that
Okay.
difficult to configure.
Okay. Understood.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we are able to see the API asset onto the community portal page. So I think there was some issue with that addition of this API asset previously. So I just removed that asset and then added again, and then it automatically popped up. Yeah. So before that, Atul mentioned a button called Fix All. So under the diagnostics tab, if you go to your community, so you will have this user access option and then guest user and member user. So beside this, you might have a Fix All button enabled if the these all options are not green mark, I mean not checked. So this option has been introduced by Mulesoft in the recent versions of ACM package, where you can click on the Fix All button and it will automatically check if the default setting that we are doing manually are done correctly or not. If it is not done, it will automatically configure everything. It will automatically do all the object settings, and it will try to correct the your particular profile. I mean the object permissions and everything. So right now you see the check marked in the classes and object permission and sharing rules. So there might had been an issue with the setting, so it automatically corrected those settings, and now we can see that we can see the asset on our home page. So this is the guest user profile and the guest user profile. So a guest user can click on the API details since we have enabled to interact with this, and then I we have the API documentation page. So if you have any documentation associated with this asset, This will show the documentation pages will show under this tab. And if you click on API console, you will have the option to see the API console as you see in the Anypoint platform. So if I click here, I click on get, I can see the specification, the API specification. I can also play around with the instances. So, uh, this is the the interaction with your particular API asset that a guest user persona can have. So this guest user, this particular asset is only visible to guest user when I have set the visibility of this particular asset to everyone in the Salesforce API community under the API community manager app. So if this was set to, if let's say if I set this option to, let's say members only and then apply. So if I'll try to refresh this, let's say I go back to the home page, again we will see that the API is not no more visible. So this is a very easy way to handle as to which API should be visible to which kind of particular user. So I'll again move ahead and let's keep it to everyone and then apply. And let's see if it is available. So it is now available again since it has been changed to everyone. So this was all about the setting up of guest user profile. Any questions up until this point about the configurations? Okay, so I'll consider that as a no question. And so now we will move ahead and set up the member user profile for our community portal. So as I mentioned earlier, there might be users who would like to the access the assets available onto your community profile. They would like to log in and they would like to interact in a more better way than as compared to the guest user profile. So for that, we will be setting up the member user profile for our particular community, and we will associate the users who have registered. We will see how we can associate the registered users with that particular profile, and how we'll be able to give permissions and the set the object settings for the user profile. So just close this tab. So being API curator. So again, we'll go to the setup and we'll search for profile. So here we'll create a new profile since our community is new. Here we need to choose as to which existing profile we need to clone. I mean, our profile which we are creating has to be like which profile. So here we will choose this customer community plus login user profile. So this customer community plus login user profile is by default provided with this ACM package, and the member profile that has to be created for our particular community has to be like this. So there is also a license associated. As you see, there is also a license associated with this particular profile, and that is customer community plus login license. So the users who will be the member of our ABC bank profile, they will be associated with this license, and this license is used in assigning the default ACM member user permission set. So currently the ACM provides they have a provision as to if an user is associated with this particular license, they will be assigned to the ACM member user permission set automatically. So here we will select the customer community plus login user, and then we'll give the profile name to our according to our needs. So here I will be giving ACM member profile. So I'll go ahead and create save. So as you see, our member profile has been created, and the license associated with that with our profile is customer community plus login user, and it is a custom profile. So now we need to give, as we did for guest user, we need to give the Apex class access to this profile as well. So we'll click on the Apex class access option, then we'll click on edit. Then we'll just select all the Apex class access and then click on save. So we see now that all the Apex class access has been given to this particular user profile. We'll go back to the profile overview. Here there is a catch. Actually, as I mentioned earlier, that the permission set already has these object settings configured, but we have seen this irregularity that sometimes the profile users or the member user profile aren't able to see the assets which they have been assigned, or the visibility is set to members only. So in order to avoid that, we will just set the object settings for two particular objects, the community API. So the first one is the community API object. So we'll click on the community API's object, and we'll just edit this, and I'll give this all access, read, write, create, edit, and delete access, and I'll just save it. So the same thing needs to be done for community asset version app object as well. So I'll just go to community asset versions, and then I'll create an edit. Then I'll do this, click on save. So for both community APIs and community asset version, the object permissions have been modified. Now we will create an account where the registered users, or we can say the contact of the registered users, will be stored. So we will go ahead and click on the app launcher, and we'll search for account,
So I
and
mean,
we'll
when
create a
someone,
new account.
yeah, when someone is associating, go ahead. You can start. You can
Okay.
go in the background, but
Yeah.
I'm just explaining, like, when someone is registering on the portal, so we want to know that, who got us, I mean, who registered to our account. So that is where we are creating this account, and those will be added as a contact under this account. So ABC bank account we will be showing right now, like, as part of login and registration, how we are going to add this account. So any user who is registering will automatically get assigned as a contact to this account. Okay, go ahead,
Okay.
Vikram.
So I've given the name as an ABC bank account, and I'll just click on save. So right now, as you see, we have zero contacts in our under our account. And later on, when we'll be registering a user, we will see the contact of that particular user under this account. So you can track here as to, I mean, the details of that, the user who all have registered onto your community portal using this. So this is the next step. Now we need to go back to the site administration page and do some settings for your member profile. So I'll go back. Went back to the API curator and I selected the site administration page. So now my site administration page is here. So we have here the members tab. So here, as you see that the members tab, so here we can select as to which kind of profile or which kind of user will be able to access your community. I mean, they will be accessible to your community. So here we have only have the system administrator. So here we will select the ABC bank member profile and we'll add here. So here the selected and the selected profile, you need to add the ABC bank member profile or your community name and member profile. And we'll click on save. Uh, Now, when this is, I mean, this is being configured, we'll go to the login and registration as to we have to enable. So under the login and registration tab, we have this option under the registration page configuration. You have this allow customers and partners to self register. So since this is not registered, I mean, you need to create a user in Salesforce manually and then associate with that particular license and then that particular profile, and then that user will be able to log in onto your community portal. But if this is enabled, then they will be able to sign up using your community page by themselves. I mean, the admins need not intervene in order to create a new user for that particular community. So we'll just click check this option. So a bunch of options get enabled. So since it is here, so now you need to assign users to a profile and account. So we created a profile as ABC bank profile. So we'll select here. So we'll just select the account here. Just select for ABC. I'll select here ABC bank account. Okay, just wait, let this be completed. Okay, so this is completed, then now it will show. So since it was not completed this operation, it wasn't showing. So now we can see that the profile that needs a user to be associated with is ABC bank member profile. Now we'll create search an account. So ABC, and we will let's select the ABC bank account. Now we'll just go ahead and save it. So now this has been saved and this has been enabled. So now we'll go back to the community portal. Now, if we click on this login option, So here we will see the sign up option available too. If we hadn't checked this self registration checkbox, then it wouldn't had been available. So we'll go ahead and create a new user. So I'll just click on sign up. I'll provide my information.
Before that, can you go
Uh,
to the again the API curator member access and see if all the permissions, I mean, that green mark is
okay,
appearing for that one.
okay, I'll just go ahead and then let's see. I'll just refresh this page if it is.
So here there are two options. Right now we are showing for I mean auto approval. So no admin needs to uh, approve anyone. So you register over there, you sign up, and that way you will be shared a link to change your username password. I mean sorry password. So you will get automatically that email. But you can also add option where some intervention is required, so that the people
So
don't
there
need
are
to.
some sharing sets.
Yeah,
So I'll just use the fix all option.
yeah, so that they don't get auto access. So that also configuration we can show. I mean, we'll not be going into detail about how that, because it requires workflow setup and those things on the Salesforce side. So we'll just be sticking to uh, this auto approval thing for this demo.
And Atul, where can we get those configurations to, club it with some identity management like Azure SSO or any other identity management?
It's in the Salesforce, like identity manager. I
Okay,
mean, there we can configure. It's on
okay,
the Salesforce, yeah.
okay,
Salesforce instance, you can do that. Like how we were selecting that um, profile and those things, right? So that way you can.
okay.
Okay, so now I have entered the details and I'll just click on sign up. So now it mentions that uh, your check your email account associated with your username or for instructions on resetting your password. Now I'll go back to login and then I'll just go ahead and check my email if I have got an email. So as I see, automatically I get from the ABC Bank community. Hi Vikrant, welcome to ABC community. To get started, go on to this particular URL, and then if I click, let's say if I click this address, and then I'll just go ahead and paste it here, I'll be redirected in order to set the. Okay, let me just open it here only. Okay. Okay, I think there has been an issue with that. Just a sec. Okay, I'll go ahead and try another user. Just a sec. Okay. So click here. Yeah. So if I open the URL, then it will, for the very first time, it will show me to set a new password for my particular account. So I'll go ahead and set a new password. Click on change password. So by default, I will be logged in using that user into the community portal. I'll just move ahead and close this, and then I'll try to log in the incognito mode. So yeah, so now you can see that I am logged in as a member user. And if I click here, I go to my profile. So here I can see the profile. So Vikran Kumar plus 123. So this is the login of a member user. This is how we can create a member user and we can log in using them. So under the API Community Manager, we have this member management tab. Here you will be able to see all the members associated with your community, the member users. So here you can either, so here we have the option to either activate or deactivate the user for your community. So if you can select it. Now we'll move ahead and add some more APIs.
Can you check in your homepage for a member user? Are we seeing that everyone, I mean, demo app over there? We don't see, right?
Yeah, just wait a second. Let me refresh.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you go to
Okay.
the object set? Sorry, Apex class access. Probably, I think we added that community API, right? We did not grant that access to that user.
Hmm. Profile. No, Apex class access. I have given all the Apex class access.
No. Can you edit once?
It's everything.
Okay.
And then object settings.
Done.
Okay, community API. Community API is read, create, edit, delete. Community asset versions.
Can you give the access to all the fields also, apart from just the access?
Uh, okay. Okay, let's see again. Okay, now we are able to see the API. Yeah. Okay.
So
So
apart
now
from
I'll
read
go.
write permission, we need to select all those fields
Yeah,
as well. Okay.
you need to select the field permissions as well.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay, now I'll go ahead and add some more APIs. Just go here. Let's select. I'll add this API. I'll add this API. Now I'll go to this, and then I'll set the permissions visibility to members only and public, and I'll just go ahead and change the name. Okay, let's first have this one only. So I've added the assets. I'll refresh the page, and I'm able to see the new asset added. So demo ramel and demo app. So as you all see that the demo app has a visibility to everyone, so that is why it is also available to members, the member profile, and demo ramel is visibility to members only. That is why it is also available. But since demo 0987 is only to admins only, then it will only be available to admins. So if I go here and then I'll just open site. So if I choose this option, I'll be logged in as an admin, and I should see all the three assets. So as an admin, I am able to see all the three assets. So this is it. And let's say if we just want to, as I mentioned earlier, that we can change the name. So I'll just here demo ramel demo, and I'll just add an icon to it. So just downloads, yeah, open file. So when I added an icon to it, I'll apply it. Then again, I'll try and refresh to see if my changes have been reflected or not. So as you see, the the asset name has been also changed, and the image, the asset image has also been changed. So it is very easy to make these aesthetic changes in the API Community Manager. And let's say if I log out, I should only see the demo app. So I'll just go back to the home page. So since I'm on home page and I am here as a guest user profile, I'm only able to see the demo app. Okay, so this is all about the setting up of the different personas, the admin, the member profile, and the guest user persona. Now we'll see as we mentioned earlier, that how we can change the look and feel of the community profile. So we'll see how we can change the look and feel. So from here, we'll again go back to the site builder. So here we have the site builder. So here we can change the look and feel of the here option. I mean the options available here. So here we have this page field. So here we have all the pages that are into your community. You can manage all the pages. If I just minimize it, you can see a new page option. So you can just click on new page and select which kind of page you want to add, a standard page or an object pages, and it will be added to the number of pages will be added to your community. So this is about this page tab, and you can manage this particular page using this gear icon. You can change the URL. For the home, it won't change, but for custom, let's say if I select the APIs, uh, select for few pages, for the custom pages, you can change the URL. You can change. So here you can click on change URL. So if I give here any another URL, then this particular page will be available on that particular URL path. So this is about the page configuration. Here we have different option. We have the component option. So here we have by default provided the LWC components, which we can readily use in onto our community builder. We can just drag and drop and add that particular component here onto our community page. We have this theme where we can change the theme, we can change certain colors, and we can change the fonts. Here we have the settings where we have different set of settings for SEO, navigation, and here and we have the page structure. So here you can also alter the structure of the page as to how it should look like. I mean, the since it is logged, I mean, if it will be custom, then you can alter as to which part should come. So as I mentioned, so I'll go ahead and create and use the HTML editor component and drag it here. So this HTML editor gives us the option to add an HTML content to your community page. So if I click on the HTML editor where I have dragged, I'll click on edit markup. And here you can see if I change here the option, let's say if I delete this part and I'll just save it. So you'll see the HTML content has been changed. So I have an HTML content ready. So I'll just copy this, I'll just paste it here and save it. So as you see, the HTML content has been added. So if I go to the community page, I am not able to see any HTML content here. But let's say if I publish this, when so there is this thing that whenever you make changes, any aesthetic changes in the community builder or the experience builder, you need to publish. So there you need to every time you need to publish so that those changes should start reflecting onto your community page. So
Yeah,
if I
if you
click
don't
on
want to
publish,
do publish every time, so there is also option of preview. So you can just
yeah,
preview that, and as a group also you
preview
can
and save.
publish. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I now when I have published, I'll just refresh the page, see if that change is available to me or not. So right now it is not available. It will take a bit amount of time.
You published it,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, yeah, I published it.
Can you try?
Let me publish it again.
Yeah, there are no
Then
changes to
no
publish.
changes.
Oh, you have published on the under the APIs page, not under this. So you have to go under the APIs page. You have not
Oh, I'm really sorry. So
delete that and
just
come
wait,
to.
wait, I'll delete it. Go back to home. Just, so let's see if that change reflects. So as we can see, the change has been reflected immediately, and we can see the HTML content that I have added uh, in the builder onto our community page. So we can also change the look of this using the CSS. So if you have a fair idea of CSS, you can use the CSS script to change the look and feel. So for adding the CSS, there is this theme option here, and there is this caret down button. So you can change, you can click on edit CSS and use overrides, and you can put your CSS using the class name tag and whatever the content you want to put. So I have the CSS ready for that for my HTML content. So I'll go ahead and add it, and I'll just save it. So as you can see, the change is instantly reflected here, instantly. So the change is reflected here. So just give me a second.
Vikrant, maybe we can wrap up.
Yeah, yeah, sure. This is the just the last part. I mean, yeah. So I'll just publish it. And I'll see if the changes are reflected. So as we can see, the changes are reflected. So with this, I mean, by this way, we can change the look and feel and the aesthetics of our community page. We can set up different persona for different use cases, and we can build a community portal.
Just one last thing,
So
Vikrant, can you show the forums? I mean, just log in
yeah,
as the guest user and show the
yeah,
forums.
sure. So we also have a forum. I'll just quickly log in. Okay, let me just show it with the admin view.
Hmm. So here, as you can see, right, we have this by default blog, forums, those features are available, which you can't add something like that in the default exchange portal, that in the public portal that we have. So this is where, you create a community ecosystem where, developers interact and engage with your community, right? So they can go ahead and ask a question. They can, if they are having issue with something, they can contact support. So this is how, I mean,
You
this is
can
the,
choose the
yeah, you
yeah.
need to define the topics. That is something configurable on the Salesforce side. And if you put the question and ask, then it will start reflecting on to the forum. So this is similar to Stack Overflow. So, kind of engaging everyone. So everyone can see, you can restrict like who get to see. Obviously members is where they can go and ask the question. Guest user can just view that, depends upon the requirement. And yes, other developers can go ahead and like the question. They can reply to those questions and things like that they can do. You can also add gamification on top of that. So, we can allocate some points depending upon who is answering the question. Like you can select those points, those are also configurable. You can define badges, like, if suppose a developer crosses 100 points, then they get this badge. So kind of those gamification also you can add, so that will improve the engagement with the developers. Yeah, that's all I wanted to add. Yeah.
Okay. So that's all from my side also, Atul. I would like to Atul continue forward with it.
Yeah, we'll just wrap up quickly. Let me share my screen.
Thank you, Atul, and thank you, Vikrant, for the nice session.
Mhm.
Yeah. If you have any question related to the ACM, you can reach out to Vikrant and Atul Anand in the LinkedIn, and I will upload the recording in the YouTube channel. Thank you all for joining us.
Okay.
Hey,